Okay, so for the second part of your reading, I want to talk about your evolutionary axis, your trauma, and your skip step. So the evolutionary axis looks at your Pluto placement, which is the desire nature of your soul, or the unconscious desire that caused your soul to separate from source. Um, and so we look at that. That's like the underlying basis for all the different planets that we find in the chart and where they're placed. That's basically the cause of each and every life and of what we see in the birth chart. And so there's that. And then the second thing we look at are the nodes of the moon and then the rulers of the nodes. So you have Pluto in the fifth house, which is someone who has a Leo desire nature, soul desire nature. And this is someone who is unconsciously, maybe not in your case, because you're so far along in your lifetimes dealing with this desire nature. So for you, I think it's going to be more conscious, but somebody who feels like they have a special destiny or a gift or a talent to share with the world, that whole Leo, creativity, artistic pursuits that need to be creatively actualized and shared with other people. So we look at that and we say, okay, if this is the unconscious desire of your soul is to share your gifts and talents with others, then why did your soul choose this specific south node or this specific Mars or this specific Venus? And all those things are related. So the next thing I looked at was your south node, which talks about your past life ego, and it is in Capricorn in the seventh house. So I asked myself, okay, why would this soul want to choose, a moon, an ego that was carrying these two energies as a way to fulfill the unconscious desires of the soul to be, to be recognized and to share their gifts and talents with the world. And so we look at Capricorn, and this is about, your career, your status in the world. Capricorn is this energy is about who am I in society versus Cancer, which is about who am I internally as a human being. Those are the two polar opposites. So for you have past life, bringing forward into this life of Capricorn, how is my career? How am I showing up in the world? How am I being visible in society? And how is this going to impact those gifts and talents that I have to share with other people? And how is it going to help me be seen and recognized in the world? And then your north node is Cancer. How am I relating internally to myself versus just relating to myself as this public figure or this social identity? And because you have a skip step, this tells us that you've experienced both of these things. You've already experienced your north node in your past life. You've already experienced, relating to yourself internally as opposed to relating to yourself only as who you are in the world. So you've already experienced both of these, which is completely different from somebody who doesn't have a skip step, like me, for example. All I've ever known in this lifetime is Capricorn energy because I have Capricorn South Node as well. So for me, to be able to learn how to integrate the energy of Cancer is something totally new and fresh. I didn't experience this in my past lifetime. So there's those two things, and then we look at the 7th house, and that's the Libra, the energy of Libra. So if you're wondering why I'm saying 7th house is Libra, in evolutionary astrology, we don't look at houses in the traditional sense as areas of life as they're looked at in regular astrology. So we say it's all about energies. So every house is representative of the energy that naturally occupies it. So Libra naturally occupies the 7th house. So this is a molding of the energies of Capricorn and Libra for your South Node. And, Libra, like we've discussed already, is about figuring out what my needs are as opposed to other people's needs. So how would this relate to fulfilling the unconscious desire to be recognized or to be able to fulfill your creative, pursuits? It could have a lot of different meanings, and that's what I love about astrology, is that anytime I think about all the different meanings that a particular placement has, and even within different disciplines within astrology, like you look at what it means in traditional astrology, the 7th house is relationships. So, whatever that meaning is going to be true, regardless of the house system that's used, the specific type of astrology. But for evolutionary astrology, we're looking at the Libra. And this could be somebody who utilized, I got to be careful with my word choices, utilized partnerships, in a past life to work towards being able to share their gifts and talents. It could also be somebody who let the needs and opinions of other people prevent them from actualizing their gifts and talents. So, it all depends on what transpired in the past life. And I can't see that, but I think a lot of times the present life is a good indication of what happened in the past life. Now, next we look at the ruler. Wait a minute, before I go into that, I want to talk about the other energy of your North Node, which is the 1st house Aries, because you've already experienced both of these in your past life. So in your past life, you were either working with people to fulfill your gifts and talents, or letting their opinions and needs block you from sharing your gifts and talents, or it could have been a combination of the two. And then, so you've experienced that, and then you've also experienced your North Node energy, which is Aries, your other North Node energy. So, Aries is the complete opposite of Libra. It's basically unconscious narcissism. So putting my needs first. There's no awareness of the other in Aries. And I know this intimately because I have Aries in, South Node in the 1st, Aries. So for me, in this lifetime, learning how to integrate that energy has been somewhat of a revelation. Oh, other people have opinions. That's something that I've had to learn. Other people have needs and wants. And I'm just kind of laughing at myself right now because, it's funny. I think it's funny how, we can be so blind to the energies that we're not familiar with. But in your instance, you've had this experience of Aries in your past life. So you've had the experience of all these 4 energies, Cancer and Capricorn, and Aries and Libra. And what happens with a skip step is that the soul, so in the past life, the soul had the South Node energies, And then as it was experiencing the North Node energies and attempting to integrate these foreign energies into its, current life experience, something happened, some trauma happened, something happened that prevented that successful integration of the North Node energies into the South Node. And that caused the skip step. So that's what a skip step is. It's unresolved material from a past life that prevented the successful integration of the North Node energies into the South Node. And what this does is it, in effect, it blocks the soul from evolving through, first of all, the North Node energies, and then that, that ties back to that subconscious Pluto in the 5th house, Leo desire, because over time, over multiple lifetimes, the soul is asked to evolve away from that as well. It's asked to integrate the opposing energy of its desire, which in your case would be Aquarius, because Aquarius is the opposite energy of Leo. So I guess to put it more simply, you have this unconscious desire that brought your soul into existence and caused it to separate from source of feeling special, having these gifts and talents that you want to share with other people. But then in order to be able to do that, you have to learn how to integrate the opposing energy of Aquarius. And what that's about is learning that, it's about a lot of different things, but it's learning about how to realize that one's gifts and talents do not originate from within themselves. So it's a process of humility and of understanding that, just because I'm gifted and talented in something doesn't mean that this is for everybody, because anybody who has a strong Leo energy signature is going to crave that recognition, and they want the positive feedback. And if they get feedback that's not positive, it can be really crushing to their ego, because their ego is still really fragile. So being able to integrate the opposing energy of Aquarius is what can help them do that. Because with Aquarius, we have this sort of detachment. I like to look at it from the view of life stages. So with Leo, the life stage is that of a teenager, where, they want to be seen, and they're, the opinions that their peers have of them are really critical to their sense of self-worth and all those things. And then Aquarius is representative of the old man, or the old woman, who they've lived their life, they're tired of the BS, they know who they are, and people's opinions of them don't really matter. So they can be authentic, they can seem weird or kooky and not care what other people think about them. Aquarius is individuation. It's the liberation of the true self. So that's one function of integrating this Aquarius energy into, the energy of Leo, is being able to share your gifts and talents. And when you do, if they're not received in the way that you'd like, or, that you can feel this sense of emotional attachment, like it's not going to crush you, it's not going to destroy your sense of self-worth. And then the other part is being able to take your gifts and talents, Leo, and then finding a way to integrate those into society to fulfill a need within that society. So Aquarius, again, is that, post-retirement phase of life where They've learned their stuff, they're masters of whatever field they've been in. And now it's time to share what they've learned, to be mentors to other people. This is what Aquarius is all about, the water bearer sharing what. Hold on, Claire.
Am I going to drink the rest
No, I'm not going to drink the rest of that water.
of that?
Okay. Sharing. Claire, get out of it.
I don't trust them.
Claire, I'm doing a video for somebody. Okay.
For
For somebody that I know, and she's going to do a reading for me.
Oh, that
Okay.
sounds.
So say hi and bye. Say hi.
Bye.
So it's about taking, the skills and all the things that you've learned over the course of your life and being able to mentor others and share that with others in a way that's needed. So in effect, when you have a skip step, it's blocking you from integrating that opposing energy of the subconscious desire of your soul, which in your case is Aquarius. So if you feel like you have a good handle on Aquarius and that you're able to integrate your gifts and talents in a socially meaningful way, then maybe you've already worked through this skip step and it's nothing to worry about for you any longer. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if that was the case, with your knowledge of the gene keys and human design, because that is super powerful at being able to allow you to see what your shadows are and to heal all that stuff. Yeah, so that, let's see, where was I at with that? Claire. Claire, what do you need, baby?
I'm hungry.
You're hungry?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you want to go get a granola bar from the closet? Do you know where they're at?
I can't use them, Mommy.
They're down low in the shoe thing. You get one of those. I'll open it for you if you need me to, okay? Okay, now I'm gonna have to make this a 3-parter. I think my daughter is getting antsy here.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me at least talk about the rulers of the nodes, and then I'll stop this and do the 3rd part. Okay, so then we look at the ruler of the South Node, and this tells us how that past life ego went about Claire went about doing whatever it is that they needed to do to fulfill their subconscious soul desire. So we look at South Node in Capricorn. The ruling planet of Capricorn is Saturn. So that means that your South Node ruler is Saturn. And then we look at Saturn, and it's in Libra in the 5th house in your chart. So Libra in the 5th, I looked at this and I was like, okay, well, first of all, Saturn is the planet that is squaring your nodes. It's the planet where you got tripped up. What caused these unresolved issues that have prevented you from growing and evolving in the manner that you're meant to. So the fact that the planet that is causing the skip step or the issue is your South Node ruler, I think is really telling. And that means that, whatever you were doing in your past life to effectively, go about your South Node personality, and then how that fulfilled your unconscious desires, all that stuff's related. So Libra in the 5th, you were, again, working with others, or maybe listening to their negative feedback and having it crush you, having it cause this sense of, defeating your goals and aspirations.
I'm gonna be done soon.
Yes, I'm almost done, maybe. And then the 5th house, the 5th house is, creative pursuits, it's talents. So whatever happened, the way that you were going about it in your past life is what caused the skip step to happen. And it was something to do with those two things, how other people impacted your gifts and talents and how you were either able to or not able to share those, in the way that you wanted to. And then, okay, so then the ruler of the North Node is, the North Node is in Cancer, so the ruler would be the moon, the ruling planet, and your moon is in Scorpio in the 5th house.
Mommy,
Yes, baby.
I have a question.
What's your question?
Who's gonna see besides your friend?
Nobody. This is just for her, baby. Just me and her. Okay, so
And me.
right, and you. So the way that you went about, this whole North Node in Cancer in the 1st house, Cancer relate yourself inwardly. And then that Aries 1st house, my needs, my wants, my desires before everybody else's, was through the energies of Scorpio combined with the 5th house Leo. So maybe there was this, maybe you were, deeply, what's the right word? You were connecting and merging deeply with your gifts and talents in order to find a sense of personal power, and then how that related to 5th house Leo, your talents. This is just a guess. This is for you to ponder and think about. But the way that you went about going about your North Node energies was through the energies of Scorpio and Leo. And I'm Claire, you're a little comedian, aren't you? You're bringing some comedy to the video. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to end here and get these girls. I got 2 girls. Get them satisfied in whatever they need, and then I'll be back shortly. Bye.